Trav is when he gets home. So, Helaman, chapter 6, verse 24. Whosoever of those who belong to the band of Gadian, secret combinations, should reveal unto the world of their wickedness and abominations, should be tried by them. In other words, murdered and robbed for being a whistleblower. Everybody needs, as citizens of the United States of America, to whistleblow on organizations in America committing crimes. Can't lie and say that somebody's committing a crime or a company's committing a crime when they're not. That gets you in trouble with the law. But if you've got the evidence, you've got the money receipts, you've got the documents, yes, you have a duty as a patriot to whistleblow. Because otherwise, you are part of the secret combination. You are seeking to overthrow the government by keeping silent. Even if you just ignore it, because it's not affecting you, you're still a conspirator. You must whistleblow when you know of crime being committed. This secret combination is described as a religious organization, as the government and the religion of this secret combination merged together into one. And so they did have their secret signs of Lucifer, because the devil is the founder of secret combinations and lies and murders and thefts and whoredoms. And the reason why they have their secret signs and secret words is so that they can distinguish a fellow member who had entered into their covenant, so that they would protect each other when one of them murders, steals, commits whoredoms. And so the secret combinations in the Book of Mormon were the cause of the destruction of the Nephites. And it's merged with priestcraft for religion, which is said in the keystone of the Book of Mormon for Mormonism. The Lord condemns it. And so Mormons, likewise, as citizens of America, are required to whistleblow. You know, like Mark Felt, Deep Throat, who took down Nixon. And soon to be a Mormon who took down Trump. But for some reason, they're delaying the indictment. I'm really hoping that it will have seditious conspiracy. I will go down in history as not going down in history, because only those who watch my channel will know. The government won't reveal it. But, yeah, I sued the church. And when I presented the evidence of the inverted pentagram on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple, Holland went and had his little episode was taken to the hospital for a couple of weeks. And then finally, when he came home, they revealed that he had been in the hospital for a couple of weeks. Hilarious. And so yes, because of the seriousness of the charges, it was required to be shown to the United States Attorney General, which was Barr at the time. So, yes, I am a whistleblower of this church. Every single member is either a conspirator with the church, or you need to be a whistleblower. You cannot be a fence sitter on this. You've got to report on the church. And so what is the secrets that the church are hiding from the world? It's in the temple. Hello? Back in my day, we took a penalty of death to not reveal the secrets in the temple. And this goes way back with Brigham Young, who created it all. Not Joseph Smith. You're going to get dumbass critics who think that the lies that they've been told are true and thus blame Joseph, not getting a clue that Joseph was constantly locked up for being framed by the Danites of Brigham Young, because Brigham Young then rose to power and took over the church. I keep doing the videos for you guys. And so yeah, he started the tithing protection racket and priestcraft, section 119 for tithing. That was Brigham, not Joseph. But notice the date when he put it in. 1838. That's your clue. That's a secret word, secret number to identify a Danite con or fraud or forgery. And so, with that money, Brigham Young was able to travel to the valley and flee the country. And only his Danite loyalists, who were rich because they didn't pay back the loans from the bank fraud that got Joseph in trouble for with the collapsing of the bank. See? And when was that? And so you have next women getting trafficked out of the country, not just out of state. They were lied to. They need men to take care of them because they're property back in those days. Women's emancipation had not yet happened. The women's right to vote had not yet happened. Women were property of their husband. And so that's why Oakes, still in this latest little girl devotional that he had in May, was telling little girls they have to sit on their casting couch and wait for the man to call them to ask them to marry them. I had fun with that. Oakes, really, I'm waiting, just drooling for him to become the president. Prove Joseph Smith a false prophet. I dare you. I'm waiting, Oakes. I've got his polygamy or pornography talk. His talk where he says women will never hold the priesthood. It's not God's ordained law. I'm waiting. Please, hurry. And good times. And so it's sex trafficking when money is involved and criminal activity. And so in the valley, they were intending to overthrow the government under Joseph Smith. That's the Council of 50, isn't it? Is that what it's called? I think it's the Council of 50. That was Brigham Young. Joseph had nothing to do with it. Sidney Rigdon had nothing to do with it. Only Brigham and Heber and his Danites. That was their secret government combination that merged with his religion secret combination. And yes, Brigham Young is the reason for the inverted pentagrams. And so when Joseph Smith was going to run for president, that's when the Council of 50 all of a sudden emerged in our documents by Brigham Young. And so he fled the country, founded his Kingdom of Deseret. United States took over the land, 1848, the next year, because of the secession of Mexico. And Brigham Young immediately was dethroned as king. The next year, he retaliated by starting the criminal racket of the Perpetual Immigration Fund. And I was able to force Mormons to pay into it so that they can bring more Mormons that he had lied to about the name of the church and the name of the religion, or the kind of religion that it was. The learning of the Jews under Joseph. It's Christian now, isn't it? With Jesus, rather than the Jewish Christ of Joseph Smith. And Mormons, they hate. You have to be a whistleblower. If you get angry with me, if you deny and resist and argue and send death threats and hate comments, you are part of the conspiracy. The facts are all over the place. Don't be stupid by claiming you're not going to read and study so that you would know the truth. But once he got the Mormons into the valley, he then publicly ordered polygamy to be practiced openly, no longer in secret with his Danites. It's going to be kind of hard when you have Mormons who knew nothing of polygamy are coming into the valley and are finding out that there are Mormons of the first group who have multiple wives. What's going on? And so Brigham Young immediately ordered it publicly, and of course framed Joseph. And all critics and ex-Mormons fall for it, just like the Mormons did. And so this was illegal. The whole operation was illegal. This isn't religious freedom. You don't have religious freedom to commit crimes. But Brigham Young needed as many Mormons as possible. Polygamy is the quickest way to produce the greatest number of babies for the latter-day Armageddon war that they were plotting. And it's all right here. I've been doing the videos for you. You can't deny the word of the living prophet of Jesus. He said it. He published it. And Mormons believe it's just a Mormon myth. I found it. Here it is. Adam on Diamond. secret combination to overthrow the government. Because it's not Jesus. Seriously? He fell for that old Christian con? And so, the United States, under John Taylor, finally created a law in Congress, the Edmunds-Tucker Act, shut down the protection racket of the Perpetual Immigration Fund, the tithing scam. And because of the sex trafficking involved with that scam of tithing, they too had to stop tithing. In Brigham Young's temple, he not only had the law of obedience, where polygamous women had to obey their husbands, under the penalty of death, remember? And then you have the law of sacrifice. You have to be willing to fall on your own sword to protect the church. You have to take a bullet for the church. You have to go to prison for the church to protect and defend the church. Law of the gospel. Nelson's now changed that. But you can't criticize the leaders of the church. No evil speaking of the Lord's anointed, which technically is everybody who's anointed in the initiatories. Not a single Mormon understands that. It's weird. I understood it. Why didn't you? And so then the law of chastity. No, it was the law of polygamy, marriage. Women were ordered in polygamy. But because the United States shut it down, they were still keeping it. Because it's a sacred secret. Nobody's supposed to be telling the government what's going on in the temple. Because the law of consecration is, you give everything to the church for their kingdom back. That's what they mean when they talk about kingdom. The Mormon kingdom come. The living prophet of Jesus' will be done. It's to overthrow the government. And so the Reed-Smoot hearings, turn of the century, was the exposure of whistleblowers in the church who were saying that Mormons are still practicing polygamy and still sealing polygamous marriages. And so the church, getting caught still by whistleblowers, were forced to change the law of polygamy to what they termed as the law of chastity, rather than the law of marriage. And so the law of chastity was no sexual intercourse, except with your husband or wife to whom you are legally and lawfully wedded according to the United States law. They didn't put the United States law, they just put legally and lawfully wedded. Nelson changed that. He's bringing polygamy back because he added according to his law, God's law. What's God's law on marriage? Oh, section 132 that Brigham Young had put in the final year before he died in that new edition of the Doctrine and Covenants that replaced Joseph Smith's law of monogamy, condemning polygamy. Brigham needed something preserved for Mormons after he died. That's why he did it. That's why he framed Joseph. Because John Taylor, likewise, got revelations from Jesus to practice polygamy. It's the law of the Lord. Everybody do it. The United States said, nope, can't have those in your scriptures. They were forced to be taken out. But the church didn't need to take out section 132 because it was by Joseph. See the secret combination that's going on here? And so then Heber J. Grant starts up the church again, 1923. Still using tithing, collected $1.5 million for that incorporation. And they were pardoned by Grover Cleveland for polygamy, and thus the problem with the Reed-Smoot hearings. But not for their tithing crimes. And yet the government is not coming after the church for their tithing crimes, still in practice to this day, until the Whistleblower in 2019, in which Nelson came out with a response to the Whistleblower and confessed, yeah, we're violating the laws of the land, we're committing tax fraud, we're committing financial crimes, we're using the money for other crimes like money laundering, because that's the Lord's law of the parable of the talents. Oh, dear God. So yeah, back in 1978, everybody around the world only knows that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is no longer racist. Because Jesus is no longer racist. The church is now true. It wasn't true before. Now all of a sudden it's true. Jesus is no longer a racist. Yeah. Jesus, the seditious conspirator plotting to overthrow America. And so, what you don't know is that the church had no intention of giving blacks the priesthood, but they wanted the Edmunds-Tucker Act repealed. And so what do you know? The Edmunds-Tucker Act was repealed later that year. And so the church continued to lay low. They can't just rush into polygamy. And so, yeah, you get presidents of the church lying and denying that they ever practiced polygamy. Nope, we don't do it. No, we don't do that. No, never. That's those FLDS apostates. They did that. Yeah, no. See, now the church has to come out and confess, yeah, Joseph did it. We had no choice. We were forced to because Joseph ordered it. No, it was Brigham. They lied to you still to justify it, so they can get away with their plot to overthrow America. So, yeah, under Nelson, there's a reason why he's picking up the paste pecani sauce. So I've noticed some curious things with dates. And knowing already that this plot has a coordinated time frame schedule, calendar schedule, to recognize these patterns of dates is very significant. In the video I did the other day, I brought up that Orson Hyde was brought back into the church by Joseph Smith getting out of Liberty Jail with the coup of Brigham Young on the 27th of June, 1839. Anybody recognize the significance of the 27th of June? Hey, didn't we just have that last year? Or last month? And last year. Yeah. Joseph Smith. What happened with that? What happened on that date? Oh yeah, he was murdered. By who? Oh, it was that mob of blackface people who were acquitted by the corrupt, evil government that we are justified in overthrowing. Yeah, it has nothing to do with Willard Richards or John Taylor, who were of Brigham's 12, who were there. They weren't under arrest. What were they doing there? I did that video. I do it every year unless the church holds me in bondage. Like last year. The reason why their testimonies contradict each other. So yes, Joseph Smith reverses the coup, puts Orson Hyde back into the Quorum of 12, but keeps Brigham Young as the president because he was duly voted to be the president after excommunicating all of the troublemakers who wouldn't have voted for him unanimously. And so, yes, Brigham Young then murders Joseph Smith on the 27th of June. 5 years later. He even... 5 is an Illuminati number. The inverted pentagram, 5 points pointing down. Death, falling star, spiritual death, physical death. God. So if you're unfamiliar with this, the Illuminati were created on 1st of May, the 5th month, 1776. Johann Adam Weishaupt with his 5 members. And Brigham Young, after murdering Joseph Smith 5 years later on the 27th of June to retaliate for his reversal of the coup, had the Nauvoo Temple built. The outside was redesigned with the inverted pentagram, and now tithing is going to be required for Mormons in order to go into the temple to learn about the sacred secrets to overthrow the government. But it was finished by January of 1846, 2 years after the assassination. And we know this because Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball were given their second anointings by themselves in the temple. Joseph Smith Papers has those documents. It's not in the Joseph Smith Papers because it wasn't about Joseph Smith. And so they still waited. And April 6th comes by and goes, and Mormons are pissed. What are you doing? The temple is ready, dedicated, on the 6th of April. Why the 6th of April? 6 members started the Church of Jesus Christ. No. Church of Christ. That was the name of Joseph's church. There was no Jesus. 1834, Church of Latter-day Saints, by the vote of leadership at that time. That's another clue that when you see Jesus, it's most likely a forged document if it's not the learning of the Jews. Like the Bible. There's all those books with Jesus in it. Those were written by Jews, not Christians. It is not Jesus. Jesus is code for the latter-day prophecy of the man like Moses named Emmanuel, sun god of the Egyptians. And so, he dedicates the Nauvoo temple on the 1st of May with the inverted pentagram on it. And there's more, because John C. Bennett, Mr. Polygamist, got caught, excommunicated by Joseph. Can't practice polygamy under Joseph, because he's anti-polygamy. John C. Bennett went to the Danites. Help me. Joseph has excommunicated me. Get the hell out of here. You're going to expose us. You're going to reveal our sacred secrets. And so he went off and formed his own Illuminati group. And then there's Benjamin Franklin Johnson. Mr. A hooligan pointed a rifle at me or a pistol at me and said he was going to shoot me if I didn't deny the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Oops, where were you? Oh, you were in Adam-on-Diamond. All Danites. Yeah. There's lots of stuff you're missing by not watching my videos to the end. And so those are just a couple of stuff that I've noticed a number pattern for, a date pattern. And so there's others. As we're coming up this year with the bicentennial year of the day that shall burn as an oven, and they that come shall burn them. It's this secret combination that's them who's coming to burn Mormons. Oh wait, it's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now do you understand what they're keeping a secret from you Mormons? Yeah, they have you keeping a secret that you are a criminal to protect the church, but also that the devil never supports his own. They're framing you and setting you up to be victims. So yes, 9/11 is also a number of this secret combination. In the War of 1812 and 1813, that's when the British had landed and were going to then march on Washington, D.C. 9/11, 1813, for which they then burned the White House down. That's symbolic, isn't it? Yeah, 9/11 was also when they had William Morgan locked up in Canandaigua Jail, New York, for being a whistleblower. He was working on a book to expose their plot to overthrow America in the latter days, using the Bible dates from astronomy to coordinate their attack. But there was an American hero who has gone a sacred secret until me. I'm the only one who revealed it. Joseph Smith Sr. was the master mason of the lodge in Canandaigua, New York. William Morgan was working on the book there with Joseph Smith Sr. What happened to the book of William Morgan? Where did it go? Nobody could find it. Everybody was looking. Everybody was trying to murder whoever it was that was working on the book with William Morgan. What happened to that book? It was approximately 116 pages. Yeah, the Book of Mormon. It reveals the plot to overthrow America by the great and abominable church of the inverted pentagram of Lucifer. Why are you not whistleblowers, Mormons? Oh, you're in on it? And so, yeah, then you have 9/11 that we all know about that occurred. And then there's 9/11 for the church. Oh, that's a coinkydink. Mountain Meadows Massacre, 9/11. It was like 1853 or something like that. Not sure of the year. By John D. Lee, third great-grandfather of Senator Mike Lee, who also is involved in the seditious conspiracy to overthrow our government. Huh. Like third great-grandfather, like third great-grandson. This takes too long. I'm just going to skip the date. (1857), September 11th. And so, yeah, this year, the bicentennial year. When was the date that Joseph Smith kept repeating for us? 9/22. Huh. Weird. That's not 9/11. I mean, if you double 11, it becomes 22. Joseph did say 4 times on the 22nd of September, 1823. Nephi, right? Nephi. You're looking at the Joseph Smith. You're not looking at the Joseph Smith papers. You're keeping the sacred secret cover up. So yeah, it's not Moroni. Moroni is an error in Doctrine and Covenants section 27, verse 5. It's the key of Nephi for Ezekiel. I should know. I got the key. I can identify what an error is because I got the key. I've demonstrated the fruit of the key. So it's not a spiritual witness claim. But, yeah. And then he comes back year after year, 4 times on the 22nd of September. Joseph is trying to tell us something. He is telling us in that second vision, hey, there's prophecies that I'm being told by Emmanuel, who says his name is Nephi, but says he's a messenger. Malachi quotes Malachi, the day that shall burn as an oven, and they that come shall burn them. He's talking about Mormons, guys, in the future, in the latter days. Joseph is talking to Mormons. Hey, in the latter days, the secret combination of the great and abominable church is going to try to murder you in a Holocaust. They didn't know what a Holocaust was back then because it hadn't happened yet. We still had to wait for World War II Nazi Germany. Mormons are likened unto Jews by Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon for a reason. Because were in the learning of the Jews. And yes, Moroni and the swastika, it's a book. The guy did some YouTube videos of lectures that he gave. The church is all Heil Hitler. So that's why I do the videos where I expose the prophets of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints giving the Heil Hitler. If you are not a whistleblower, you are a co-conspirator. And so this year is it. It's the final year of the latter days. This is why Nelson keeps wrapping things up. And in October 2022, Jesus is coming. You're going to see magical powers in the coming days. Yeah, what did we see in the coming days? Yeah, the church put in their anti-respect for marriage amendment in the Respect for Marriage Act, and thus got it passed. So it's not the Respect for Marriage Act, it's now the Disrespect for Marriage Act that was passed. You didn't know this? Oh, you thought it was rights for LGBTQIAPO+. Oops, you got punked. Just like Mormon women got punked, thinking that they no longer obey their husband. They got punked. It's the whole family proclamation loop trap. Because women now obey Jesus. Nelson speaks for Jesus. Nelson tells Mormon women to follow the family proclamation, which tells women they have to obey their husband. He presides. Oops, you got punked by the great and abominable church of Lucifer. And so then, with the natural disasters that have been happening, caused by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, with this secret combination in the United States of America, the Council for National Policy. I had found it right before the October conference in 2021. YouTube had wrongfully banned me from posting videos, and I was under probation still. And so there was a risk that if I did post a video, that the evil Mormon employee of YouTube would shut me down permanently. But I knew the importance of what I had found from the news. And I had found it posted by the Southern Poverty Law Center, that it warns America of hate groups in America. This Council for National Policy is a hate group. They designate it as a hate group. They've been in business overthrowing America since 1981. So, trickle-down economics? Yeah, that's them. The 2016 election fraud? That's them. Steve Bannon, he's a member. The biggest events of greater importance require the members to act. So as a member, Steve Bannon was directly responsible for helping to overthrow the election in 2016. And then he went on to Europe, did his fascist overthrowing of the governments there tour. Brexit? Yeah, him, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because they have representatives in that secret council. The Skousens. Klingon Skousen, author of Communist Manifesto and the first 1,000 years, second 1,000 years, third, fourth to 7,000 years. Yeah, him. He's in that council as an honorary one in memorial because he's dead. And so, who replaced him to represent the church and the church's will? Yeah, his firstborn blessing son, Mark. And so, remember when Trump got impeached? Who was his lawyer? Oh, a member of this council. Because the greatest events require the members to do it. If you want something done right, you do it yourself. You don't trust the minions to do it because they can fail. Right, Nelson? If you want to murder me, you do it. You come do it, coward. Yes, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been trying to murder me since a long time ago. We can talk about that too, but again, and so you've heard in the news this year about a guy who helped a billionaire connect and compromise our Supreme Court justices? A member of that council. Like I said, the church wants their kingdom back. That's the sacred secret you are forced to obey in the temples. And all of the crimes associated with the kingdom. Murder, plunder, stealing, whoredoms. All manner of wickedness. If you are not a whistleblower, you are a co-conspirator. And so, last year, every year, the government's required to renew the budget for the next year. And oftentimes, they don't come to an agreement because we're divided between two extremes. Communists versus fascists. And so oftentimes they'll postpone it and delay it until December. Last year, MAGA caved after the extension. They had caved. They allowed it to go through. That surprised me. I was sure they were going to try to destroy the economy by having a government shutdown. But nope, they had other things to do first. And so, what happened beginning of this year? Oh, the debt crisis. MAGA is holding America hostage by threatening to crash the economy. Yeah. And so the stock market was going down. Who runs the stock market? The ultra-rich run the stock market. Insider trading. Oh, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Yeah, now you know why they made the most money during COVID. From their stock investments, while everyone else was suffering. They also own stock in the vaccine companies. I am kind of wondering, no, it was an act of God that took out the Pfizer plant in one of the states a week or two back. And so that would have done damage to Pfizer stock of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But I did the video last night. The church came out and revealed that they're suing their insurance companies to get the settlement money back for their sex abuse. But that's what they're doing. The church is finishing everything up. All of the projects are finished. Yes, they have minion stuff still going on. Garna supposedly is going to be on the 30th, tomorrow, for the music and the spoken word in Spanish. Free Garna. As there's been scandal with that. Was it me? Did I ruin that too? They're pimping out Garna. And so, yeah, I expose it. And then next we find out, oh, all 4 are going to participate in the premiere episode. Thanks to my whistleblowers to the church. No, you don't narc on good people. Because we're out in the open. We've got nothing to hide. Even though I have people who think I do. Because they didn't watch those videos where I reveal what happened. You know, like being locked up by the church for suing in accordance with my First Amendment rights to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The church ordered the government to turn around and detain me indefinitely for 6 years of my life as a terrorist. The documents were sealed. I've got the case number still. Also on file. But I told you I wasn't planning on using that in part of this. But yes, this is what you do to whistleblowers. The church when you're wicked. I've been a victim of the church being a whistleblower. And the government won't protect me. Not the state government, not the federal government. Because the church owns and operates it all. They're getting their kingdom back. There is a Holocaust coming. And so that's what I'm watching for. Did Joseph Smith warn us of 9/11 this year, which does seem to correspond with the number pattern, the date pattern. This being the second of 2 sets. Or is it actually the 22nd? That they're going to trick us. And instead of doing it on 9/11, do it on 9/22. So that Joseph Smith was being blatantly obvious. I don't think so. I do know they are encoding messages to us with dates, because they knew the start and the end of the latter days. Book of Mormon, right in the beginning, gives us the astronomical date for the beginning, which is in the Bible and Revelation and all over the place. But there's others that I've noticed. And so, what we also have coming up during this same time period is Congress. They took off. They're gone. They left early. MAGA didn't want to deal with the budget this year. So again, having gotten the deep state Dems to cave to their extortion threats, which MAGA was pissed with, you don't know what they're doing, guys. But nonetheless, yeah, now they're emboldened. So with the coming shutdown date looming on September 30th, yeah, they know the Dems will cave. They will hold America hostage again. And are not likely to extend, since they know the Dems will cave if they push hard enough. That's why you can never give in to terrorists. They will murder what's being held hostage, and will take your money and murder you. And so then, over the state of Utah, on the 14th of October, the annular solar eclipse prophesied in scriptures by Samson. Now they know that this eclipse was occurring, but they didn't know it was in Samson. His wife is burned. Virgo is where the eclipse will occur. Over Utah, of the great and abominable church that want their kingdom back, that are hoarding money, that are buying up land to get their kingdom back, pushing religious freedom to overthrow the governments. They've tricked the International Committee group that now has approved the church's Religious Freedom Act. And so they just got to get it passed here in the United States of America. But by getting it passed in the world can now put pressure on the United States to rely on religious freedom. Even though the United States says, well, we've got the First Amendment. They've already got religious freedom. But this is how they act. They're criminals. They're conspirators. They frame people. They compromise people. They victimize and criminalize people. They make you a criminal. You cannot whistleblow, or they will murder you, or try to, if they don't do it themselves. And so, yes, the fall of the great and abominable church. But the great and abominable church is claiming to be Joseph's church, with the keystone of the Book of Mormon. What's up with that? Well, Albert Pike tells us in his letter to Giuseppe Mazzini, he reveals the truth that this secret combination is to overthrow not only the government of the United States, but Christianity for its Jesus fraud, and then emerge from the ashes with Lucifer. So the church is already set and primed to go. They just are framing Joseph again. That's how they got members in. Because they lied while he was alive, saying it's the Church of Jesus Christ. We're Christian. Jesus is our Christ. That's the name of his church. No, it wasn't. They lied to the converts. That's why he was able to bring them to the valley here. It's because he lied to them. They only knew the church by that name. And so, in the latter days, they've been framing Joseph Smith. That if the church is doing something wrong, they just say, Joseph told us to do it. Religious freedom. That's why Nelson is ordering polygamy. Because Joseph was doing it. We have no choice. God's law. Religious freedom. Right, Oaks? And so, they banned the Bible. Should have gone for the Book of Mormon. That would have been hilarious. banning the Bible triggered a worldwide response. And so the government caved, and now it's a sacred secret. They still ban pornography. Who bans pornography? Oh, it's the sacred secret in the temple of the keystone of Lucifer, which means it's the doctrine of Lucifer. See, you are naked. Father will see your nakedness. Make you fig leaves to cover your nakedness. Quick, hide. It is Lucifer who shames women's bodies and tells women they need to cover up and hide themselves. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints obeys Lucifer because it's his church. But he's blaming Jesus and blaming Joseph. They are plotting to destroy this church as Jesus' church, as Joseph's church, to destroy the Book of Mormon. Because under the learning of the Jews, that whole condescension of Jesus thing is not as it's meant if you take it as Christians and Brighamites as literal history. Because under the learning of the Jews, it's symbolic prophecy of the future human mortal, of human mortal parents, both mother and father. No immaculate conception. What Isaiah is telling us is a star date for the beginning of the latter days, using the coming of their mortal Christ, the man like Moses, Emmanuel. But Christianity, under Constantine, destroyed that. Now it's literal history of the Roman period time. The Holy Ghost conceived in Mary an immaculate conception, pathogenesis. Of house. So that in Mormonism now, in the Book of Mormon, Heavenly Father, who was Adam under Brigham Young, came from outer space to his 14-year-old daughter in the flesh, had raped her, and then abandoned her with the baby. Do you see how that's abominable? Do you see why they wanted to ban the Book of Mormon too? In retaliation for banning the Bible? Do you see why the Mormons in the government then swept it under the rug and allowed the Bible back on the shelves, but still denied porn? But the church wants it destroyed so that when the ashes are over, they come back from fleeing to rebuild their kingdom unmolested, unafraid, with Lucifer now. Ignore me and not listen to the end of this over-hour video at your own risk. But like I said, hey, Oaks, if you're listening, or if you're being narked to, I dare you, prove Joseph Smith a false prophet. Prove me wrong that you're not going to go through with it this year, because I'm ready for you to be the president.